$1,000. That is what the state of Alaska mailed to nearly every one of its residents in 2025. Not a refund, not a rebate, a check just for living there. And here's the part that should bother you. The biggest videos on this platform ranked the freest states in America, crowned their winner, and got it wrong according to the very source they claim to use. I pulled that source, I read the edition year, their #1 state ranks 15th. So today we're doing this properly, with 3 independent freedom indices, named on camera, with the years attached. Because a ranking without a year is just a mood with graphics. What if the freest places in America aren't the ones with the loudest slogans, but the ones quietly deleting entire taxes while nobody's watching? On this list, you'll meet a state that built a 40-foot wooden jackalope and still runs one of the best tax codes in the country. A state with more cows than people and no sales tax to bother either group. And a town literally named Tightwad, in a state that keeps cutting its income tax like it's trimming a hedge. Think you know which state is the freest? You don't, because the state that actually tops the data almost never gets the crown on YouTube. High-tax states don't make brochures about the exits, and most channels never open the actual reports. Subscribe if you'd rather get the numbers with receipts than a highlight reel with vibes. This channel reads the footnotes so you don't have to. Let's break it down. There is a town in Missouri called Tightwad, population roughly 80, and yes, it has a real bank called the Tightwad Bank. Because when life hands you a name like that, you open a financial institution. Local legend says the name came from a shopkeeper who overcharged a postmaster 50 cents for a watermelon, which might be the most Missouri origin story ever recorded. The numbers are less petty. Missouri cut its top income tax rate to 4.7% starting January 2025. With triggers in place to push it toward 4.5, according to the Tax Foundation. The same organization's 2026 State Tax Competitiveness Index ranks Missouri 12th overall with the 5th best corporate tax code in the country. And Zillow put the typical Missouri home at about $270,000 in 2026. That is one of the cheapest front doors on this entire list. Beyond the spreadsheet, you get the Ozarks, 2 major league cities on opposite ends of the state, and barbecue arguments that qualify as a regional sport. Now the trade-offs. Missouri sits in tornado country, which means the siren system gets tested so often it's basically a civic alarm clock. First Wednesday of the month, the sky screams at you and everyone just keeps drinking their coffee. The Weather Service issues watches, then warnings, then the kind of radar colors that don't appear in nature. And that income tax cut with the revenue triggers? Your tax rate is on a performance improvement plan. It only improves if the state hits its numbers. One more honest note. Missouri voters repealed a right-to-work law in 2018. So labor rules here are looser than the tax code suggests. Would you take a shrinking income tax if it came with a monthly siren soundtrack? Tell me in the comments, and like this video if you'd bank at a place called Tightwad purely for the novelty checks. Now, if a town called Tightwad made you smile, wait until you hear which town in Indiana answers Santa's mail. Every December, the post office in Santa Claus, Indiana receives and answers thousands of letters addressed to the big man himself. Volunteers known as Santa's elves have kept the tradition going for roughly a century. One small town decided to be the North Pole's regional office, and nobody ever stopped them. The tax picture is just as tidy. Indiana runs a flat state income tax of 3%, scheduled to drop to 2.9 per the Tax Foundation. The 2026 State Tax Competitiveness Index ranks Indiana 10th overall, with the 4th best property tax component in the nation. And the Cato Institute's Freedom in the 50 States 2023 edition calls Indiana the freest state in the Great Lakes region by a wide margin. Zillow's typical home value here, about $260,000 in 2026, which is the kind of number that makes coastal viewers assume I misspoke. I did not. The catch? Let's start with the view. The horizon in Indiana is not scenery, it's a commitment. You can watch your dog run away for 3 days. Corn on the left, soybeans on the right, and a water tower in the distance, doing its best impression of a mountain. Winter arrives flat and gray and stays like a house guest who found the good couch. And here's the fine print the state doesn't advertise. Indiana's counties can each stack their own local income tax on top of the flat rate. So your actual paycheck depends on which line of the map you sleep behind. The legislature giveth, and the county council taketh a little back. Like this video if a flat 3% beats whatever your state is currently doing to your paycheck. Because the next state levies every major tax there is and still lands in the national top tier. That should be impossible. It isn't. North Dakota holds the world record for the most people making snow angels at the same time. 8,962 of them flat on their backs in Bismarck in 2007. That tells you everything about how this state copes with winter, aggressively and on purpose. It's also home to the only state-owned bank in America, the Bank of North Dakota, which has been operating for more than a century. Here's the trick that earns it this spot. North Dakota levies every major tax there is, meaning income, sales, property, and corporate, and still ranks 11th on the Tax Foundation's 2026 index, with the 6th best property tax component in the country. Low rates, broad bases, no gimmicks. The Fraser Institute named it one of its liberator states for how much economic freedom it gained this century, and it has been a right-to-work state since 1948. Typical home values sit in the low 200,000s according to Zillow in 2026. That's a soft figure, and I'll flag it as one, but every source lands on the same word: cheap. What do you give up? The wind. The wind in North Dakota doesn't blow. It commutes straight down from Canada, express service, no stops. It has a work ethic. It shows up early, stays late, and takes your trash cans on unpaid business trips to Minnesota. You plug your car in at night like it's a phone, and nobody finds that strange. The interstate closes in blizzards, and actual gates come down across the on-ramps. Like the entire state hit capacity and stopped admitting visitors. Could you handle a winter that requires a group snow angel world record as a coping mechanism? Let me know below, and share this with the friend who thinks their city has wind. Because the next state also skips a major tax entirely, and its largest population group can't even pay taxes. They're cows. Montana has more cows than people, about 2.12 million cattle to 1.14 million humans. According to United States Department of Agriculture, data reported by Montana Free Press in 2025. And until 1999, the state had no numbered daytime speed limit at all. The rule was reasonable and prudent, which is a legal term meaning we trust you. Don't make it weird. Here's the freedom math. Montana charges no sales tax. You walk out of the store and the sticker price is the price. The Tax Foundation ranks it 6th overall on the 2026 index, though it slid one spot after adopting a new tiered property tax structure. 2 honest disclosures, because that's the whole point of this channel. First, Montana is not a right-to-work state, one of only 2 states on this list that isn't. Second, the housing market has gone full cinematic. The median asking price hit about $632,000, 6th highest in the nation, per Realtor.com data covering June 2024 through May 2025. In other words, the cows can't afford Montana either. Blame the streaming era. One prestige ranch drama, and suddenly every listing with a fence post markets itself as a legacy property. The listings don't say house anymore. They say turnkey ranchette with mountain energy, and the asking price assumes you recently sold a tech company. Meanwhile, the actual mountains remain free, which is the best deal left in the state. Glacier National Park, blue ribbon trout rivers, and enough public land to lose a bad mood permanently. Share this with a friend who keeps threatening to move to Montana, preferably before they open Zillow. And if mountain prices sting, the next state will feel like a discount by comparison. It also has a town named after breakfast. Florida has a panhandle community named 2 Egg. Local lore says residents once bartered eggs for goods at the general store. And this state has never met a bit it wouldn't commit to. The same energy runs through the tax code. Florida charges no state income tax, and this isn't vibes. The Cato Institute's 2023 edition ranks Florida second freest overall, and number 1 in the entire country for fiscal policy. The Tax Foundation's 2026 index has it 5th, and people are voting with their bumpers. Florida was the number 2 growth state on the 2025 U-Haul Growth Index, with arrivals making up 50.6% of all one-way traffic in and out of the state, and Ocala ranked as the single top growth city in America. Typical home value per Zillow in 2026, about $378,000. Now the bill for all that sunshine. Property insurance, your insurer has watched the same hurricane coverage you have, and they've priced in the sequel, the prequel, and the extended universe. The premium goes up if a storm hits. The premium goes up if a storm misses. The premium goes up if a storm is merely rumored. At this point, Florida homeowners don't read their renewal letters. They open them the way you'd open a report card you already know about. Add hurricane season itself, tourist traffic with the turn signal habits of a coin flip, and summer humidity that functions as a second outfit. Picture this, early morning on the Gulf Coast before the heat files its paperwork. The water is glass. A heron works the shallows like it's on salary, and your paycheck arrived without a state income tax line anywhere on it. That last detail never stops being beautiful. Would you trade hurricane season for keeping that slice of every paycheck? Yes or no? The comments are open. Next up, the state that didn't just skip an income tax, it made one unconstitutional. Texas contains a single ranch bigger than the entire state of Rhode Island. King Ranch sprawls across roughly 825,000 acres, which means one property's driveway situation outranks a founding member of the Union. The tax policy operates at the same scale. Texas has no state income tax, and in 2019, voters made it permanent. Proposition 4 passed with 74.4% of the vote, writing the ban directly into the state constitution. Repealing it wouldn't take a bad budget year. It would take a constitutional amendment and a small miracle. The Fraser Institute's 2025 report ranks Texas 4th in the nation for economic freedom. The Tax Foundation has it 7th. And the moving trucks agree. Texas was the #1 growth state on the 2025 U-Haul Growth Index, the 7th time in 10 years it has taken the crown. Zillow's typical home value, about $303,000 in 2026, which for a state holding 3 of the nation's biggest metros is borderline suspicious. So where's the catch? The property tax bill. Texas appraisal districts reassess your home with the enthusiasm of a rival bidder. Every spring, an envelope arrives announcing that your house, same roof, same driveway, same suspicious fence lien, is somehow worth dramatically more. And would you like to pay taxes on that opinion? Protesting your appraisal is practically a civic holiday here. Then there's summer, which runs from April to Halloween, and a power grid that greets extreme weather like a surprise party. Shocked every single time. Like this video, if you think your appraisal district owes your house an apology. And while you're down there, subscribe, because the top 4 is where the checks, the jackalopes, and the corrections begin. Speaking of jackalopes, the next state built one you can walk inside. In Wall, South Dakota, 2 chainsaw artists, the Dahl brothers, built a 40-foot wooden jackalope in 2022. And it's not a statue, it's a building. You can walk inside the jackalope. That is the most South Dakota sentence I will ever read out loud. The tax code is somehow more impressive. South Dakota charges no individual income tax and no corporate income tax. Not low, not phasing out, just absent. The Tax Foundation ranks it 2nd in the entire nation on the 2026 State Tax Competitiveness Index, and Cato's 2023 edition puts it 3rd freest overall. It has been a right-to-work state since 1947, and the state government carries some of the lowest debt in the country. This is what quiet competence looks like. No press tours, no slogans, just a tax code other states quietly photocopy. What you trade away is urban wattage. Sioux Falls is growing fast and Rapid City has real charm. But if your ideal Friday night involves a rooftop line with a velvet rope, you'll be commuting to another time zone. And then there's the wind, which treats the entire state as a hallway. Winter doesn't knock here. It has a key. The interstate gates close, ground blizzards erase the horizon, and the forecast becomes a map of the state with an apology on it. Locals respond by getting better at everything. Better coats, better trucks, better attitudes. There's a reason the giant jackalope is smirking. Quick gut check. Would you move somewhere with 0 income tax if the trade was wind that files a flight plan? Drop your answer below, because we've reached the top 3, and this is where it gets personal. The next state doesn't just skip taxes. Once a year, it sends you money. And the biggest video on this topic ranked at #1, which, according to their own source, is off by 14 spots. There is a town in Alaska called Chicken. Local legend says the gold miners wanted to name it ptarmigan, after the bird, but nobody could agree on the spelling. So they went with chicken, because frontier pragmatism beats a dictionary every time. Now the headline you clicked for, Alaska pays you. The permanent fund dividend went out at $1,000 per eligible resident in 2025, set by the legislature in House Bill 53, per the Alaska Department of Revenue. The year before, it was $1,702, including an energy relief payment. This has happened every year since 1982, funded by a state investment fund that held $84.4 billion as of September 30th, 2025, according to the Alaska Permanent Fund Corporation. On top of the check, no state income tax and no statewide sales tax. Only some local communities charge their own. The Tax Foundation ranks Alaska 4th on the 2026 index. And now the part other channels skip because you deserve the whole spreadsheet. That big video that ranked Alaska the #1 Freest state, their own cited source disagrees. The Cato Institute's Freedom in the 50 States 2023 edition ranks Alaska 15th. Cato's own write-up says Alaska's standing is driven entirely by fiscal policy, while it does poorly on regulatory measures. No right-to-work law, heavy occupational licensing, tightly regulated insurance. So why is it still #3 on my list? Because I'm ranking what you'll actually feel in your wallet. The missing income tax, the missing sales tax, and the annual check, with the trade-offs disclosed instead of buried. That's the difference between reading the report and reading the thumbnail. And the trade-offs are real, because the cost of living is the tax. Alaska's own Department of Labor found Anchorage prices running 25.5% above the national urban average, with Fairbanks utilities more than double the national norm. Your groceries have a longer travel itinerary than you do. That gallon of milk arrived by plane, and it's priced like it enjoyed the flight. Heating season lasts most of the calendar. Some towns have no road access at all, so forgetting an ingredient isn't an errand, it's a supply chain event. Picture this: late August, somewhere outside Fairbanks. The birches are turning gold, a moose is auditing your driveway, and the northern lights are warming up behind the ridge. Inside, on the kitchen counter, sits an envelope from the state, and for once, it isn't asking for anything. Share this one with the friend who watched that other video. They deserve the corrected math. Then hold on, because number 2 is the state the Tax Foundation just crowned the single best tax code in America. You will not guess it, but the jackalope was born there. The jackalope, the mythical rabbit with antlers, was born in Douglas, Wyoming in the 1930s, when 2 brothers named Herrick mounted deer antlers on a jackrabbit and sold it to a hotel. The state liked the joke so much it trademarked the creature in 1965. So yes, South Dakota built the 40-foot jackalope, but Wyoming holds the intellectual property. That's the most on-brand thing about this state, quietly owning what everyone else shows off. Here's the crown. Wyoming ranks number 1 in the entire United States on the Tax Foundation's 2026 State Tax Competitiveness Index, not top 5. First, no individual income tax, no corporate income tax, the 6th best sales tax component in the nation, and it goes beyond taxes. The Institute for Justice's License to Work study rates Wyoming the least widely and onerously licensed state in America. Fewer occupations require a government permission slip here than anywhere else. Want to braid hair, arrange flowers, or start a trade? Wyoming's paperwork pile is the shortest in the country. It has been a right-to-work state since 1963, and Zillow puts the typical home around $340,000 in 2026, with the loud exception of Jackson, where the ski economy priced out the actual mountains. So what does freedom cost here? Company. Wyoming has the smallest population of any state, which means your nightlife plan goes like this. You're driving, still driving. It's been an hour, you've counted 11 pronghorn and 0 stoplights, and the radio is now just weather. Eventually, you arrive somewhere with 2 restaurants, and one closes at 8. And the wind? The wind doesn't visit Wyoming. It lives here, pays no rent, and treats every fence line like a percussion section. Your hat is not an accessory, it's a flight risk. Picture this. Dawn in the Bighorns. Frost on the sagebrush, steam rising off your coffee, and a horizon with 0 buildings in it. And I do mean 0. Your business license took 1 afternoon. Your income tax form does not exist. Somewhere out there, the wind is rehearsing, and you don't even mind. Like this video, if Wyoming just jumped up your shortlist. Quiet states get buried by the algorithm, and that's exactly the problem this channel exists to fix. Could you live an hour from the nearest stoplight? Tell me below. And now, number 1. It repealed its last remaining income tax, tops 2 of the 3 freedom indices, and its state motto is a 4-word dare. New Hampshire is the only state in America where adults are not legally required to wear a seatbelt. I'm not endorsing that. Buckle up. But as a statement of philosophy, it's the whole state in one sentence. Your call, your consequences. The license plate says live free or die, and unlike most slogans, this one comes with receipts. Start with what just happened. On January 1st, 2025, New Hampshire finished repealing its tax on interest and dividends, the last income tax it had. Per the Tax Foundation, that made New Hampshire the only state in the nation with no individual income tax and no sales tax at either the state or local level. Not even Alaska can say that, since Alaska has local sales taxes. New Hampshire has neither, anywhere. The move launched it from 6th to 3rd on the 2026 State Tax Competitiveness Index, the biggest single-score jump in the entire table. And the broader indices? The Cato Institute's Freedom in the 50 States 2023 edition ranks New Hampshire the number 1 freest state in America, 2nd in fiscal policy, 5th in personal freedom. The Fraser Institute's 2025 report ranks it 1st in economic freedom, a title it has now held in 24 of the last 27 years. That's not a hot streak, that's a dynasty. So when that other video crowned Alaska using these same sources, this is the state their own data actually crowned. Now the honest bill, because there is one. New Hampshire funds itself through property taxes, nearly 60% of all state and local tax revenue, the heaviest reliance in the country, with an effective rate around 1.5%. Once a year, your town mails you the entire bill at once, and opening it is a seasonal event like foliage. But for your bank account, the town doesn't nickel and dime you, it dollar and hundreds you, all in one envelope. Zillow puts the typical home around $520,000 in 2026, so the front door isn't cheap either. And winter commits. You'll shovel, feel accomplished, and watch the driveway reset itself before dinner. Picture this: October, somewhere near the White Mountains. Maple red running down the hillsides, wood smoke on the air, a farm stand operating on an honor box, no cashier, no card reader, just trust. You buy a coffee, and the price on the chalkboard is exactly what you pay, to the penny, because nothing gets added at the register. In this state, that isn't a promotion, it's policy. New Hampshire isn't freedom as a slogan, it's freedom as a filing status. Would you trade one giant property tax bill for 0 taxes everywhere else? That's the comment question of the day. And if this ranking surprised you, good. That means the data did its job. Here's the deal we always make. So there it is, the 10 freest states in America, ranked with the reports open and the years on screen. Freedom isn't a slogan on a license plate. It's a line item missing from your pay stub, a permit you never had to file, and sometimes, if you're Alaskan, an envelope with a check inside. Now, that deal. Like this video, if even one of these rankings surprised you, it tells the algorithm that sourced beats loud. Subscribe if you want every future ranking held to this same standard, name sources, edition years, and corrections when the big channels get it wrong. And share this with the friend who has been threatening to move for 3 years and still hasn't opened a single tax table. This video is cheaper than their moving quote. Stay curious, stay skeptical, and never let anybody else pick your map.